Gawa.
Hi.
Now we would like to move to our two guests, former fellows, to share their personal experience, and then we will address questions that we got from our audience in the Q&A session. Please, Khalmra and Maruf, um, I give the word to you.
Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, good. So my name is Almjan. I'm a fellow of 2021, and today I want to share my experience of staying in Japan and under Takeda Science Foundation support. So my duration is I stayed in Japan for 11 months. Host institution is Department of Neurosurgery, Tokyo Women Medical University. Host supervisor Keiichi Abe, Takao Mitaira, Yoshihito Shigihara. And my training research field is neuromodulation of focused ultrasound for epilepsy. Before that, just very quickly, I did my medical degree in Peking University in China, Beijing. After that, I did my clinical residency and Beijing Institute of Functional Neurosurgery and China International Neuroscience Institute, where I spent 3 years of doing neurosurgical training. And during that time, I also did some academical work, published papers, and this is my overall background. And for Japan, I went, as you can see, it's the same field that I did during my residency. I will talk in details later. So first of all, how I met Dr. Keiichi Abe. This is Beijing, April 2020, 2019, on April 26th. I attended conference about focused ultrasound in Chinese General Hospital, where Keiichi Abe presented his work. He is also with Takomi Taira's lab, as you can see on the left side. And they in one team, and they presented something new in this field of neurosurgery, where you can do not do incision during the surgery, but still ablate uh, target structures. It's similar to gamma knife, but also has differences. So they presented this pilot data from Japanese neurosurgical institution. And at that time, I delighted to meet with him, and we had great conversation. And he gave me his business card. So I started to contact with him, and I said, I want to learn that. I want to come to Japan. I want to come to your center because this is something new, focused ultrasound for treating movement disorders, including epilepsy. But unfortunately, so after that, we started to explore opportunities to come to Japan, and one of them was Takeda Science Foundation, and second one, Matsumaya International Foundation. So we applied for both of them with Dr. Abe. But unfortunately, in 2019 December, pandemic started and everything closed. And program Takeda Science Foundation, because of this restriction, also decided not to get this risk of, and let's just for temporarily stop inviting foreign scientists because university is also not accepting. So what I did, I went to United States, University of Florida, stayed for 1 year, did my research fellowship there, and later when I stayed in the US, they contacted to me and said, okay, Japanese border is open, you can come to your fellowship for 1 year. So I decided to apply for visa. So as you can see on the right side, this is General Consulate of Japan in Miami. So I applied for visa from there with my family. I get my visa, and I directly from Miami traveled to Tokyo. But another thing is happened to waiting us. So Tokyo Women's Medical University said, unfortunately, we still cannot accept foreign doctors because of this restriction of COVID. And Dr. Taira, as you can see, he's a famous neurosurgeon in Japan or in the field of functional neurosurgery. He working in two hospitals. So he said, okay, we have Kumagaya General Hospital where we have focused ultrasound device, and maybe you can come there and they can send you invitations because this is very important. So when you apply, your supervisor also should provide with university invitations that university accepting you as a student or as a short-term research fellow, wherever. This is first news, and so I applied to Kumagai General Hospital with Dr. Abe constantly. But another news, sad news, were coming. It's Dr. Abe becomes sick, like because of personal issues, health issues. So he became sick, and he said, unfortunately, I cannot accept you because I'm leaving this hospital because of health reasons." So I started to look as a supervisor, and very fortunate in this hospital I found Dr. Yoshihide Shigihara. He's also a specialist in microelectroencephalography. Did training, postdoctoral training in UK University College London. Very open-minded. So during my fellowship, I stayed between two hospitals: Tokyo Women Medical University and Kumagai General Hospital. As you can see, it's close to Tokyo in a Saitama prefecture. And during my stay in Japan, in Kumagai General Hospital, I have three responsibilities. First one, attending surgeries. So I attended, as you can see, focused ultrasound for essential tremor. So patient had putting inside of this helmet, let's say, and after that, high focused beams delivered to target structure. So this is new technology that in the future you will not do incision on the head and skull, but you can still deliver treatment. And second one, I started to learn new skill set of electrophysiology. So because Dr. Shigihara is mainly focused on magnetoencephalography, so he became my new supervisor. And this technique mainly using for surgical evaluation patient with epilepsy. And third one, together with neurosurgeon, I started to analyze archival data for data publication. So here you can see on uh, top right, here's the MEG, this big device, and very precise, and you can still localize lesions within the brain. And yeah, during this 1 year, I stayed with Dr. Shigihara's lab, and we did some work on on a MEG study. So we published together a paper where we used data where we compared epileptic patient, try to distinguish between general epilepsy and local epilepsy by using this MEG technique. Other than that, outside of medicine, I also interested in space medicine, where I in Tokyo presented my work, where I briefly explain of Kazakhstani astronauts during their mission, what kind of scientific experiments they did. So this is another conference. So I also attended during my stay in Japan. I went to US, attended a second aerospace medical conference where I presented a poster. And yeah, beside of that, in a free time, I decided to learn Japanese. As you can see, I applied for Japanese international school. And in a free time, daily 3 hours class, I made schedule and attended. So for me, because I have previous background in Chinese, so it was pretty easier than compare if person don't know. Yeah, and other than that, I also tried to invite Kazakhstani neurosurgeon for short-term training visit to Dr. Taira's lab. So here you can see one of the famous functional neurosurgeon in Kazakhstan, Dr. Chingiz Shashkin. He came for training with Dr. Taira. Dr. Taira is one of the leading person in this field, and beside of this, I also tried to organize and connect young Kazakhstani scientists in Japan to try to make a professional networking. So we opened Japan-Kazakhstan PhD Association. So for family expenses, I would say uh, money amounts that Takeda Science Foundation is providing is pretty much enough for family. So we lived near Tokyo, and my son attended Japanese kindergarten, and I would say it's pretty much enough. You don't need to consider about that. But if you live far more from Tokyo, it will be far more enough for your stay and your family stay in Japan. Yeah, other than that, I went to Japanese Space Center in Tanegashima, one of my hobbies in the free time. Also attended meetings with. So main takeaways from my 1 year stay, with the help of Takeda Science Foundation, I get professional development in my field, also learned new skill set of electrophysiology. I also had new scientific community building, like as you can see here, Aya is here, Dr. Sherik Mirmanov, everyone, persons that I met in Japan, and we're still contacting and doing really great events. I also had the opportunity of having cultural immersion of Japanese culture, language, and it's really helped me a lot. And yeah, language acquisition and global connections. So here's some pictures from my stay. So for now, it's all. Yeah, thank you for your attention. If you have any question, I can answer later. So for now, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Halimjan, for sharing interesting details about your stay, the difficulty of your experience due to the pandemic or other personal challenges, uh, finding a right mentor, available mentor for your stay. We would like to move on to the second fellow, Dr. Maruf. Um, could you please uh, check the mic? Yes, okay, we can see you.
So before now, Dr. Maruf prepared his presentation. So Dr. Maruf is a neurosurgeon from Uzbekistan. We met during his stays in Japan. We really appreciate his time. Although he's very busy working in the National Neurosurgical Center in Uzbekistan. And he also came today to share his vision of staying in Nagoya University. Yeah, so here's his presentation. Yeah. Maruf, the floor is yours. Maruf, can you try to say something? We cannot hear you. Or maybe you. Okay. No, unfortunately, we cannot hear you. Maybe can you try to exit from this meeting and join again, because other speakers also has this problem. Yeah. And by this time, we can maybe use time for deliver some questions. Once Maruf came back,
Yeah,
Maruf, you can.
while we're waiting for our speaker to fix the problem,
Yeah.
we have a couple of questions in the chat we would like to address. First of all, thank you everyone who asked questions in the chat, and we are looking forward to have more questions by the end of the event. One of the questions is, I think, the basic question, but very important: how to find the host lab. Is there any advice you would share? Maybe common mistakes or how to increase the chance of finding the suitable lab um, in science, in life science, or medical field? If Dr. Maikawa can address it or Almjan can address it, it would be nice.
Excuse me, can you say it again, your question?
Sure. We have a very basic but very important question is how to find the host lab, how to increase the chances of finding a suitable lab, and how to avoid many mistakes that applicants do. Maybe increase the number of applications or anything, any details you can share.
Yeah, Dr. Maikawa, please, if you want to say something.
You're mute. Could you please unmute yourself first? Dr. Maikawa-san. Dr. Maikawa, you're
Yeah.
mute.
Maybe he's out.
Okay.
Maybe
So I think, yeah, let's wait before Dr. Maikawa. I think one of the option will be just connection through conferences. I think it's very obvious answer. Other than that, maybe ask colleagues that collaborate with Japan in any field of medicine. And last one, just write emails, because I also tried during my stay. I had this problem of absence of supervisors, so I contacted a lot of people through my connections in Japan, and yeah, and fortunate find one. So I think it's three options you can just try. Yeah.
Thank you. Dr. Maikawa, do you have anything to add?
Thank you very much. Very nice question. But this is the most important point to apply for our grant. But if you can find a very nice mentor, you try lots of email, lots of joining the conference or something, and please contact a lot of mentors in Japan. That is the best performance, I think.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this advice. We have one more question we can ask. Is there any preference to a certain field? For example, clinical doctors are more preferred, or life science major could apply as well. Public health and other scientists.
Well, no difference. Research and preclinical training is the same level. Both are very important for our grant.
For our audience that prefer other languages, I would like to just translate that. Неважно, какое у вас направление, это клинические исследования, либо научная базовая наука или общественное здравоохранение, вы можете подавать на эту возможность, несмотря на ваше специфичное направление. И советуют подавать больше заявок, больше нетворкинга, использовать каждую возможность, чтобы найти лабораторию, которая вас может принять. Thank you. Let's check again.
Yeah, I have one question. So Dr. Maikawa, there was one question. So one candidate, he has medical degree from Kazakhstan, and he has PhD from Japan, and did PhD from MEXT program, like Japanese government program, and she asked, is she eligible to apply? Because there's also some limitation on a website where they said, okay, if you have other stipends other than our stipends, you are not eligible. Can you share more about this? Yeah.
Regarding her, is she in Japan now?
Yeah, she in Japan now.
Yeah, that is a very important point. Okay, again, our slide said here, eligible here. That point is here. Doctors who are staying in Japan at the time of application not applicable, unfortunately. This is not applicable. Three points. Stay in Japan at the time of application, and combination with other grants over 200,000 per month yen. And the annual income is 6 million per year or more. The 3 points are very nice, very important point for candidates.
Thank you. Thank you for this clarification. Important to understand the requirements and limitations application. I would like to check first if our speaker is available. If not, we have another question from our audience. Is there an opportunity to have an access to patients while doing clinical studies? Do fellows have a chance to interact with patients?
Yeah, very good
That's
question.
Do you have
I
any,
I think
Arisan, do you have any experience in that?
yeah, thank you for this question. Yeah, I think overall, and from also from my fellows that I made in during my stay in Japan, yes, but in some kind of like limited. It's also decided upon your supervisor how much he trusts you, and how much is the safety is. So overall, I would say they allow you go to operation room. They allow you to see that, but other than that, it's all dependent on supervisor, on and your relation between them. But yeah,
Thank you.
I think Maruf has a lot of things to say about this actually, because he been staying in neurosurgical room for a long time during his stay. Yeah, maybe more Dr. Maikawa also want to add something.
We have no other comments at this point.
Okay. Maruf is not available yet, so let's move on to another question. We have a question about so most of the questions are about the requirements, like minimum language requirement, or if this program is available for bachelor students. Maybe this program is not available for bachelor students, but are there any opportunities for undergrad students in Takeda Foundation besides this overseas training?
We have not that kind of grant at this point. Just only medical doctor and PhD.
And how about the language requirements? It's obvious that you have to know English enough to understand and do research. But what about Japanese language? Do you provide any cultural immersion programs to learn language or immerse yourself in the environment?
Very nice question. Yeah, if possible, you can speak Japanese. But we have currently we have a Google translation skill. No, we have no experience and no not. If you have the Google is a very nice friend in Japan.
Thank you.
So
I think we now solved the problem, and if Dr. Maruf is ready, let's move on to the last session of this talk.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Sorry for a little problem here with my laptop. So, good day, everyone. My name is Dr. Maro. I'm a neurosurgeon from Uzbekistan, and I'm working at the Republican Research Center of Neurosurgery in Tashkent. It's a great honor to be here today and share my experience as a 2022 Takeda Science Foundation Fellow at Nagoya University Hospital. I would like to introduce my home country, Uzbekistan. The capital of Uzbekistan is Tashkent. We are located in the center of Asia and bordered by 5 countries. So, this is my hospital. This center was established in 1993 under the leadership of Marat Sharif, and has since become the leading neurosurgical institution in Uzbekistan, and we have a seven department. So this is my that was my third time in Japan. Before that, twice I visited two hospitals for short period. And after arriving in Japan, my fellowship began at the Nagoya Medical University Hospital. So I would like to express my deepest thanks to the Takeda Science Foundation, particularly Mr. Wada and Mrs. Yatabe for making this fellowship uh, possible. Uh, because their support made my journey smooth and memorable, allowing me to focus entirely on my training. I am also deeply grateful to Takuichi Sensei, whose support helped me obtain this scholarship. At Nagoya University Hospital, I was honored to be part of the Department of Neurosurgery, where I trained under the guidance of Professor Ruta Saito and Dr. Kazuhito Takuichi. Every Monday and Friday at 7:30, we attended the morning conference where we discussed the preoperative and postoperative cases, analyzed patient conditions. Before every surgery, we conducted preoperative planning, deciding on the most appropriate surgical approach based on MRI, CT scans, and 3D imaging reconstructions. This process was crucial in predicting challenges and ensuring the best possible surgical outcomes. After beginning my fellowship, I had the opportunity to assist in neurosurgical procedures. The department has a laboratory for research work and surgical models, as well as a training endoscope for improving surgical techniques. I also had the opportunity to work on surgical models, enhancing my practical skills. During my fellowship, I had the opportunity to present at conference. Additionally, I participated in cadaver dissection courses, which allowed me to refine my surgical techniques through hands-on training. I have published case reports in journals such as the Asian Journal of Neurosurgery, Surgical Neurology International, and Curious. Beyond my surgical training, I had experienced Japanese culture and hospitality. Here we celebrated traditional tea ceremony at my colleague's home, and also we visited Professor Kato's hospital. She's a president of Asian Congress of neurological surgeons. Dr. Dorshot also, he's a former Takeda fellow, and Professor Kato and her team also visited our house for dinner, and here my family. Our first meeting with Mr. Takeo Wada and Mrs. Chiyo Yatabe was through Zoom, where they introduced us to the Takeda Science Foundation and its programs. After completing the fellowship program, we had another meeting with them to reflect on my experience, and here are some memorable photos. Takeda Science Foundation Symposium on Bioscience, and since October 2023, the foundation has been organizing the social gathering of overseas fellows in Osaka, where each fellow has to share their experience and insights for their studies. After finishing my fellowship program, I received a certificate in advanced neurosurgical training from the Saito Sensei and Takeuchi Sensei. I'm truly grateful to the Takeda Science Foundation, my first, and everyone who support me during this experience. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your personal experience. We are happy to move on to the Q&A session to continue the questions from the chat and getting more details about this program or personal experiences. We have a question about medical insurance. It's a very specific question, but is there support for applicants with a family? Probably Halmjan can answer this question, and he touched upon this question during his talk.
Yeah, for medical insurance, you kind of obligated to buy it, and during your stay in Japan, so insurances will cover your stay. And yeah, from my experience, I don't have any big problems with that. I don't know, Maruf's mic is working or not. Maybe Maruf can write something. Yeah. So if Maruf will say, we write something, we can say, maybe Dr. Maikawa will want to say something about medical insurance, and we have one question more. Yeah.
Okay. There is another question about the ethical part of the research.
Yeah, can I ask one question? Yeah, so Dr. Maikawa, so I know that from Central Asia, we don't have too much people attend Takeda Science Foundation. From Uzbekistan, we have 5 people so far. From Kazakhstan, 1, and now a lot of people in Central Asia are aware of your program, and I think it will be a lot of submission, hopefully, this year. And just curious, what's your selection criteria? Are you looking for publication? Are you looking for age, experience, or what's the kind of dominance so today's attendees can prepare for that properly? Like if it's publications, they will do more publication, maybe if it's experience, or if it's... So can you just briefly, I know that's maybe a little bit confident of saying how you select candidates, but overall, what's the priority of selection? Because and last one, like before I submitted, I only had 2 papers, 1 first author and 2 collaborative, and Dr. Maruf also had only few papers. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. That, as you mentioned, the experience is a little bit important, but most important point is the passion for the research and the training, and the plan for training and the research is very, very important.
Thank you.
We have a selection committee who are the outside of the foundation. So we are supporting for them to select the fellows.
Okay.
That is very evenly they select the fellows.
Okay.
Yeah. And Maikawa-san as mentioned, passion is very important, and the plan of the achievable plan is also important.
Speaking of the achievable plan, how about the ethical applications, which require some time to get approval? What would you recommend to do in this case?
Yeah, ESTAR planning is also important, and fellowship term is very limited. So within the limited time, fellow should produce some product or achievement. So from the point of this view, selection committee will select the new fellows.
Thank you. I would like to close this meeting if we don't have any additional questions. And I would like to sincerely thank the Takeda Science Foundation representatives, Dr. Maekawa and Dr. Takeo Wada, for your contribution to promote applicants from Central Asia to use this opportunity to conduct research at the renowned Japanese universities and to learn about the Japanese culture. This fellowship is a fantastic opportunity, and we hope today's session has provided you with some information and inspiration to apply. If you have any remaining questions or would like to stay connected, please feel free to reach out to us using the social media, as well as consider connecting with Takeda Science Foundation representatives using the information on the official website. You can find their email contacts. And again, thank you for our attendees for your amazing questions and for your participation. And we look forward to seeing you again in the future events.
Yep. And before closing, we want to give a word to Dr. Maekawa, Dr. Wada. Maybe you want to say something, and our president, Professor Sergey Mirmanov. Yep. Thank you. Please. The floor is yours.
Okay. So let me first express my gratitude to the Takeda Research Foundation to provide this seminar. So I hope this is a first step when we would have more Central Asia researcher to take this program in the future. And I also hope that in the future, our association also could collaborate with your program. Maybe in future, we could have similar seminars to attract more researchers for this program. Thank you so much.
Dr. Wada, Dr. Maekawa, if you have something to say, please. If not, we will close the session.
Thank you very much for this conference. Please check. Anyways, please check our website and please contact us by email or by telephone, something like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Arimu-san and Maruf-san, for having today's opportunity. As for the grant too, the fellows from Central Asia is related to grant too. Currently, not so application is not so many. About every year, 10 or so. So please try to apply for this grant too from Central Asia. It's very important. Yeah, and not only this year, but also for next year and after next year, you can apply this grant too. So if you have not prepared yet, but in the future, please try the grant too. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Wada. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for your time, for coming. Maruf, we appreciate your presentation, your story. It's really helpful. Thank you for your time, for joining from Uzbekistan. And hopefully we will make this kind of meetings every year. So awareness of this program in Central Asia will raise. And hopefully this year, we hope a lot of people will submit more applications, and try their best. Thank you, Dr. Wada. Also warm greetings to Ms. Yatabe. We really appreciate your work that you did during our stay in Japan. It was unforgettable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.